Well, today's special 4th of July show comes with a great American, a great Golden Eagle, a great friend of mine, and a teammate of mine from back in the day at Southern Miss. That's right. Today's show is with the one and only Air Force Colonel Kendall Dunn. And KD, how are you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm good, man. We talk all the time, but I thought this would be perfect, man. 4th of July, I have my All-American friend on, man. No
Well,
doubt.
I definitely don't feel worthy to do it. Speaking for Golden Eagles, speaking for America, but I'll do my best, man. I'll do my best.
KD, by the time we get done with this show, I'm not going to feel worthy of everything you're doing or what you've done, especially with this country, man, and for Southern Miss. So, but man, let's tie you into Mississippi real quick, man. I mean, you were born and raised in New Orleans on the West Bank, but you finished at Gulfport High School, man, GPT. Yeah. I mean, you an all-star down there. How's that growing up on the Gulf Coast, man?
Oh, man, the Gulf Coast was great, man. You grew up in New Orleans. I grew up in New Orleans. One day my dad's like, hey, we're moving to Mississippi. And, dude, all I knew was rednecks, no offense. We all kind of become one Mississippi. But, man, the Gulf Coast back then was, it's a great place. It still is, but it was a small town with a beach, man. And I moved here in the 9th grade, big, ugly kid from New Orleans, 6'1" or so. And all of a sudden you show up for 9th grade and had 9th grade football down here. So you were kind of like the new big kid on campus. And dude, I wasn't a football player. And I saw a kid that was super athletic and I did what he did. I just tried to do it faster. I kind of faked the funk a little bit. And dude,
faked the funk. I heard that.
I did. I faked the funk a little bit and, kind of tried hard and dude, wound up becoming pretty good and moved on to high school. Coaches like me back then, how recruiting is. It's different now, shoot, I don't even know if I could get recruited now, but back then your coaches would put your name on stuff and say, hey, this is a kid to look for. And, it was what it was. But the Gulf Coast is great, man. It still is. Great place to live. A lot more New Orleans influence now, over in Hancock County, man, they sell T-shirts that say Hancock Parish. There's so many Louisiana folks. But, yeah. But it was great, man. It was great. I'm very blessed to move over here and get a great opportunity and be influenced by some great people, man.
Heck yeah, man. I was blessed to be your teammate at Southern Miss, and we're going to get into all those Southern Miss stories soon enough, man. But I want to do you justice about what you're doing right now. And first up, I only said Air Force Colonel Kendall Dunn, but give everybody that full military title you got, man.
Yeah, so right now I'm in the Air Force Reserves with the 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron. So I'm a lieutenant colonel, pilot with them, evaluator pilot. So, yeah, man, basically we fly into hurricanes looking for data, the center of storms. So that's what we do.
Man, and it's incredible, man. And I'm telling everybody right here, people say I'm a tough guy. No. This guy right here, you talk about balls of steel. You probably heard that before. Well, Kendall Dunn has balls of steel, man. He's been a hurricane hunter for 11 years. And KD, walk the people through what it is like going through a hurricane, because I can't picture.
Yeah. Man, we do a lot of air shows and different things, and we talk about everybody's been through a car wash, right? It basically, on a windscreen aircraft, it looks like that, man. But here's the problem. You're in an airplane, you're flying in this thing, getting in a storm. So 200-mile-an-hour car wash, fighting to get through the storm, through the eye wall, some of the strongest ones I've been through, man, 200-mile-an-hour winds. And you just feel that plane just fighting and you're fighting it. And then boom, you just pop out in the middle. And man, it's a great feeling to pop out in the middle, dude. And it's some of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen is getting in the middle of a hurricane, man.
Yeah, beautiful getting to the middle of a hurricane, man. That's what I'm saying. You got balls of steel to even say that. But, man, speaking of which, you talk about big, hurricane mile-an-hour winds you flew in, man. You were on Fox News explaining what had happened last year. Hurricane Ian, that was a monster storm that went through Florida. You explained it kind of as a near-death experience, man. Talk to me about you and your crew going through Hurricane Ian.
Yeah, man. So Hurricane Ian was what you want to call a defining moment, man, a life changer, to be honest with you. Basically 2 weeks leading up to that storm, up to that flight, I had been deployed St. Croix, Curacao. We're flying a few different storms. And then I flew in Ian, what was just a, small tropical depression on my way back to Keesler. And then we get back to Keesler a couple of days later to it's now a Cat 4 major storm. And they're like, hey, we need some more pilots. So they put an all call. I go in there and I start flying. Anyway, we get in the thing. And dude, it is rough. So people don't realize we're the only people that do this in the world. So there's 10 airplanes. There's another research unit, NOAA. They have a P3, one plane, and they fly through it, but they're doing research. So anyway, they're flying at 8,000 feet. We're at 10,000 feet. And they're releasing these remote control drones. So it's some new technology we're working on. Anyway, those guys were going through, and we were about 20 minutes out from hitting the eye wall, and they were in the eye wall, and we could see them on radar. Anyway, I call them up, I'm like, hey, NOAA 42, and they're like, stand by eye wall. And I was like, I remember my first eye wall, you wuss, kind of thing. Well, dude, all of a sudden we're getting into the eye wall, and the plane is just getting rocked. I mean, rocked. And I'm like, man, this ain't normal. The plane itself, everybody can understand. The plane doesn't know, man. The plane, if we're flying at 26,000 feet, flying, I don't know, to California, and the winds are 100 miles an hour, it's going to react those kind of winds, So it doesn't know what it's doing. But let me tell you what, that hurricane was balling us up like a piece of paper, dude. We were 20 degrees nose high, 20 degrees nose low, fast, slow, because we have a turbulent penetration airspeed we fly to make sure we don't break anything. Dude, we were just getting crushed. And then so when we popped out in the middle, I was like, holy cow. And they were calling us, they were like, TL71 or whatever. And I'm like, stand by eye wall. And by the time we got in there, we started discussing with those guys. They over-G'd their aircraft, basically exceeded their limits. We were close to ours. But I tell you what was exceeded was my comfort. Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, that seat cushion was up my butt. It was not fun. And I've showed you some radar pictures. I mean, the amount of turbulence that was inside the eye wall. Obviously, once you get in the eye, it's very calm. It's just pretty inside. We've all talked about hurricanes passing over your house, and it's calm. But holy cow, dude, that was a significant emotional event. And here's the thing: this is where the flying stuff gets crazy. So I was the aircraft commander, man, like the captain of a ship. We had 20 people on board. And when this flight's all over with, man, you start reflecting. You're like, golly, dude, 20-something people were dependent on you and that other dude to save their life. And, dude, there was no like, I hope somebody's going to do it. It's me and this other guy with the controls in our hands. So very few jobs in the world you ever get to save your own life. Normal airline pilots, I mean, great dudes, but it's pretty benign. There's rare opportunities to like save everybody's life, other than you go in there for a landing and don't smack the ground. But this was a no crap situation where we had to, make major inputs not to kill us. And the problem is, dude, you get in the eye wall, guess what's got to happen? You get in the eye, you got to go out the other side. And then we flew it. And once we get out, it was like, oh man, never doing that again. Guess what I did? I decided we're going to go to the weakest point and do it again. Mistake. But anyway, long story. We lived, but yeah, big time.
Oh man, Katie, like I said, you were making national news with that story, man. I talk about tough football stories. It's nothing compared to going through 150, 200 mile an hour hurricane, whatever wind y'all deal with, man. But man, what a story right there. And it just, Jesus, wow.
Yeah, and the reason, and what people don't know, the reason it went nationwide is because media flies with us. So we had CNN, Fox News, both Telemundo, and the other Southern, what do you call it? South American channels. All those folks were with us. So we had the Fox News girl on there, and she was like, wow, that was really bad. There were people throwing up. I said, yep, worst experience of my life. And then it just blew up. I was on Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and everybody wanted to talk to me about, how we lived, basically.
Golly, yeah, no, your face was all over media. I'm like, people texting me, look, KD on Fox News, CNN, every major outlet. I'm like, my dog's on TV.
Hey, I hate to tell you, this is a radio face. I should not be on TV, but it is.
KD, you are a sexy, beautiful American. If you ever tell me otherwise, I'm gonna drive down there. We're gonna have a conversation. You know better, man. You know better.
I hear you.
Come on, man. Hey, in that plane, I've always had a question, dude. I mean, much less humans go through that. How does this plane make it through it? It's called the Super Hercules, right? Super Hercules?
Yeah.
What is it made of? Like space age stuff?
Yeah, man. I mean, this plane, they drew this stuff on slide rule on paper back in 58. It's the same design. Obviously, it's been upgraded, new technology, all that stuff. But dude, as far as the wing box and all the stuff that attaches, it's a normal C-130. But the thing is, we just slow down, kind of like if you take a big speed bump, at 80 miles an hour versus 5, that's what we do, slow down so the plane can flex and it can, take all the jolting and jiving and stuff. But dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, we have G limits, and we were really close to them on some of the stuff we went through. I mean, basically free falling. Some of the numbers. There were some good articles that were written, not because I was in it, but about that storm. And this one guy was a super nerd, dude, coffee or die guy. He wrote this thing, and he had all the numbers from the airplane because the data is open source. And dude, we fell 600. We climbed 600, fell 1,000, 600. I mean, we did this for 5 minutes, dude, and this, and this, and this. It was, many people have flown an aircraft on a hot day, climbing out of an airport and you get those little bumps. Nah, nothing compared to what we went through, man.
Golly, man, it amazes me that it stays apart, man, but stays together. I'm saying that's unbelievable. Yeah. Man, great stories right there, Katie. I want to share with the Southern Miss folks. And, we're going to get into Southern Miss stories very soon, but man, you had a beautiful thing happen numerous times to you, man. You've been able to do, being a former Southern Miss football player, being able to fly over Southern Miss games at the Rock pregame, man. What does that feel like, man? I played there, and these people are watching me fly over it.
I know, man. I'll tell you that first time I did it, man, it's pretty cool. I brought my helmet with me. I really, I brought my helmet with me. I got all excited. It was cool, man. We had our commander with us. He wanted to do it because, dude, well, we played Division I football at Southern Miss. We all know what Southern Miss's program's kind of become right now. We want to come back. But, dude, when we played, it was the pinnacle, dude. We won conference championship, D1 football. We were D1 defensive players. I mean, that's a big deal. So, anyway, getting asked to do this flyover, dude, it's super cool. We flew over earlier, marked a point on the field, and then we flew out and basically talking to these guys and like, hey, we want you to fly over this time. And I'm like, all right, dude, we'll be there because this aircraft will tell you how, ahead or behind. And, man, we said it. We did the run in. We had the tailgate open, some guys hanging out, and you just push it up. We don't have afterburner, all that cool, loud noise, but, it was cool. I mean, but it was super cool. And I don't know, I felt like I was playing again. I mean, I hate to say it was pretty exciting. And who would have thought, man? I mean, dude, all those times we were dying and stuff on the field. I mean, I dreamed about being in the military, and I wanted to be a pilot since I was a kid. But I never thought I'd do a flyover. Are you kidding?
Man, that's incredible. And texting with you about it, messaging with you about it, and just I've been at games, and that's my guy up there flying over, man. It's just incredible. But KD, let's get into Southern Miss stuff, man. Let's go back to the glory days, kind of how you hinted on, where basically, if you didn't get a scholarship offer from the SEC, man, you literally went to Southern Miss. I mean, that's why we were so dang talented.
Hey, I always tell the story, though. I hate to say this, but I went and visited state. Man, I looked around. I said, what is that? They said cow pastures. I drove home, bro. I couldn't.
Hey, feel free to talk bad about State and Ole Miss on this show.
Right.
I kind of dig Mississippi State a little bit, but don't get me started with Ole Miss. So, but feel free, whatever you want. This is a Southern Miss show, baby.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. But 93, man, we get there together. And, we weren't the biggest recruits, and it kind of put a chip on our shoulder, man. And what that did, if you ask me, man, it made for the best scout team in 93, our redshirt year that's ever been there. Dude. I mean, we fought, we clawed, we did everything we could to get on that field. So, dude, man, talk about that redshirt year a little bit.
Dude, I got a son going to college this year, and his move-in is going to be nothing like, ours. I mean, we got there early, right? True freshmen got there early, and they were like, the veterans come in 4 days and stuff, and you're looking around, and you and I had played in an all-star game, so that was like our first taste of that competition that wasn't, your homeboys that you grew up with at your high school. Now, dude, it's like the best of the best, and we knew each other as far as looking each other up, newspaper back then, no social media, but man, showing up, you kind of eyeing everybody up, and you and I, our lockers were super close, back in that old freshman locker room. And dude, you just get out there and you're in your shorts and your jerseys and your helmet, you run around. I don't think we wore helmets the first couple of days, did we? We weren't allowed.
I don't remember helmets on. I mean, it really made it rough on rookies on first year.
It was crazy. And then, just clowning, cutting up, and just the personalities you had and get out on the field. But then, man, then when the vets showed up, that was you were seeing grown men. You and I still had baby fat on us. I mean, these dudes had veins in their fingernails, dude. Never seen anything.
The most intimidating sights I saw, you remember, I mean, we had a defensive end, Bobby Hamilton, who played for years in the NFL. His nickname was Zeus.
Dude.
But I'm a freshman coming in undersized. And then the starting middle linebacker, Tyrone Nix, his calves were as big as my head.
They were.
I'm like, I'm never going to play. I mean, it was intimidating a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, just think, like when we were on scout team and then when they go right into first offense and they're like, my true freshman year, dude, we sprinted through all the defensive ends. I don't know if you remember that. I was in the defensive end room. We had 6 deep and everybody got hurt. Latson, Robinson, all those guys, all of a sudden they're like, KD, you probably going to travel. So, dude, I played, with the starting team. I'm on playing defense against all these guys. I'm like, what in the world? You had the Ty Beechings in the world. This dude, 6'10", his arms. I mean, he could scratch your head in Lafayette right now from where I'm at. But it was just insane, dude. I've never seen anything like that.
Oh, man. That was an incredible year adjusting to D1 football, man. But real quick, you hit on some of the all-star games because I got to do this because we're best buds, man. So, Louisiana had an all-star game, but that was just for the state. But Mississippi, Alabama. All-star game. And I learned how big a deal that was. You played in it, and damn it, KD, that's all you talked about was the Mississippi, Alabama all-star game. You know what I'm talking about.
Because I'm going to tell you, dude, because that game, bro, we played. I mean, think about Damian Craig was the starting quarterback, Freddie Kitchen from Alabama, Will Friend, all these guys going to Alabama and Auburn. Dude, we beat them like they stole something from us, man. So good, dude. And, we had so many Alabama players that played with us. It was just fun talking about it.
Man, I got to the point when I saw you, I'm like, is he about to talk about the Mississippi Alabama all-star game again? I guess so. Here we go. But man, we toughened up that redshirt year, man. We would fight, we clawed, we scrapped everything we got. And then, man, what led to something cool our freshman year, man, with Louisiana guys, you finished at Gulfport, obviously in high school. But, man, that LSU game in 94, man, I'm going to let you do the talking because I've talked about it so many times. What that LSU game and that win mean to you?
Dude, and, and to go back that year, dude, it was crazy as a redshirt freshman, to start against Alabama. I can remember the shoes I was wearing, start against Alabama, dude. We had didn't they have the painter back then? Was it Sherman Williams or whatever his name was?
Williams, yep. The painter.
They called it the painter. And dude, and then, to hit a guy like that and catch him off guard and actually tackle him and knock him back. It was like, wow, I can play in this league, and play against these guys. Now, also, a guard got up under my pads and threw me on the ground like I was, nothing. But anyway, fast forward to that LSU game, dude, Louisiana guys, my dad was a Tulane fan, but, I was LSU dude and them Tigers, man. But to get in Death Valley, I had family there that were LSU fans, lived in Baton Rouge. So it was cool to see all them. I mean, crap, you had the Tiger cage, you had all, dude, and it was just funny, all the Louisiana people, man. I remember we were standing on sidelines after we came off the field and the coach was talking to us. Dude, I remember there was this guy screaming. He was like, 95, sit down. And I'm not paying attention. He's like, 95, sit down. You GD and mother F. And I turned around. And dude, if you remember the stadium, they kind of dug it down. But back then, the first few seats were field level. You couldn't see anything. And that guy screaming at me to sit down because he couldn't see. And we're about to go in the game, and his little kids are waving at me. Good Louisiana people. But, I mean, dude, it was amazing, dude. And, I remember when, you got that. That was a fumble you got, huh? When towards the end zone. Was that a fumble or a pick?
Are you talking about late in the game, Patrick? Yeah. You might be late in the game. Patrick Surtain picked off that pass to set off Chris Pierce's 52-yard field goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Remember, we were all just going crazy in the end zone. It was just insane, dude. You had that neck roll, and I just remember we were grabbing each other's shoulder pads on the ground. I mean, if we could kiss through those freaking helmets, but it was incredible. I mean, I remember we were on field goal team and people jumping over us. I remember them throwing liquor bottles at us, the little liquor bottles. God, it was. Remember Harold Shaw he did something. All of a sudden, I'm like, what are they hitting him with? It was all those little liquor bottles, man. It was awesome.
Dude, they were throwing stuff at us. Beer all over me, man. And we stayed. Remember, security had to kick us out. They kicked us out. Literally,
Yeah, we wouldn't get off the field.
Oh man, it was rowdy LSU fans, brother. But we showed them that night. But hey, man. But we had great bonds, man, built there. And unfortunately, athletic dorms aren't really around anymore, man. But we had Van Hall to live in. If you say what I miss most about football, it's not necessarily even the games, man. It's Van Hall and the guys hanging with you.
Van Hall. Dude, when they tore down Van Hall, I wish we'd have gotten an all call to go get a brick. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
It broke my heart, man. When I went back, I'm like, dude, they tore it down already? You know, I knew it was going, but yeah, man, the bonds we had, dude, that's what turned me on to Southern Miss, dude. My recruiting visit, Will Sims was my host, you know, and Brian Burns. It was one of those perfect nights. And dude, there was somebody shooting a bow and arrow, compound bow down the hall. You know, people would and I was like, dude,
that's Burns shooting an arrow.
Yeah. Dude, it was a madhouse. I was like, dude, I am coming here, dude. I canceled all my other visits. I'm like, I am going to this school, dude. And it was so much fun.
Dude, all that kind of stuff. It still shocks me looking back. I don't remember security ever really coming in the halls. We did some serious stuff in Van Hall and got away with. Let's call it what it is, man.
Dude, but, I mean, you find that. I can't. I start to say you find that. Oh, I mean, there was somebody catch a bat outside and let it loose in the hall. I'm like, what is going on in this place?
Burns with the 10-foot python feeding bunnies in the hall, you know, I mean, like, dude, like this is what it was. But man, so many stories we go to, me and you. I mean, we were great teammates, great friends. But man, there's one that I don't know, it makes me laugh. So I was playing Sega, just hanging out because I love playing my video games in my dorm. And you all of a sudden come to the door and you're having a bad day. And you're like, Marchant, hey man, I'm just in the mood to get tore up. Let's do it up tonight. I'm like, let's do it. I'm you know me. Yes.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry. Took it to the frat house, got a fifth of Crown.
Yeah. And you know, and the thing was, you and I weren't that big of drinkers, you know, but that night we were cool. we made a bond that night that'll never be forgotten. That was a great night, dude. That was
God, yeah, we'll tell the stories off air, but man, talking about that was great. Little bonds like that were built at Van Hall. The next day I remember seeing you. My boy had a bad day. I put a smile on his face with a fifth of Crown.
That's
fifth of Crown.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to fast forward a little bit too to when we get to the Georgia game, but out of respect to you, is there anything you want to hit on from the 95 season before that started 96?
Man, just two-a-days, man. Let's just mention two-a-days real quick. You know, I'm going to tell you right now, 5 years of two-a-days, they don't even do them anymore. People have no concept, you know, like my favorite thing, because when I joined the military and you go to any kind of training, it's super hot. They talk about being a heat casualty. Man, I'll never forget, dude. We had it was a hell of a morning practice, and we were getting rocked and just beat up. And you know, we're running off. So coach blows it up, gives a speech, you know, see y'all at the afternoon practice. I'm running off, and I hear Coach Williams, Katie, and I'm like, I run back. I'm like, yes, sir. And for y'all don't know, Coach Williams is our running back coach. And yeah, obviously I was a D lineman. I was like, what you got? He goes, let me tell you something, Katie. You missed my punt team meeting. And I looked. I mean, this is my third year, you know, and I'm like, punt team meeting? I said, sir, what did you're supposed to check the schedule every day. I put you on punt team because we need to win. We need you. He's giving me this whole speech. I'm like, all right. So he goes, you know what happens when you miss a meeting? And I was like, and it was 1,000 yards up downs. Remember that?
Oh, yes. Oh.
So anyway, he's like, let's go. It's just me and him, Jim Gillespie, and a trainer with some water.
And Jim's there, they're trying to make sure you don't die.
Correct. Yeah. So, well, and that was the thing, man. It's like, so I started up downs. I'm kind of doing them slow. And I'll never forget, I had about 200 more to go. And coach goes, hey, if you sprint these, this will be your last ones. I was like, okay. So, dude, I take off sprinting, and he's blowing a whistle every time he wants me to go down. Dude, I get to the other side. I'm throwing up. Man, I'll never forget, I was throwing up grape holes, you know, like 8 grapes that morning. And Jim Gillespie comes over. He goes, all right, that's it. He's done. I'm like, yeah, thanks a lot. Where were you? Like 700 up. Okay. But it was that kind of stuff, man. We were tough. You know, as defensive players do, we were almost just operating on brainstem. They said go, we went, dude. We did some incredible stuff, man. Incredible stuff.
Man, truly nasty bunch players, guys like you and me. They said tell you to jump how high. I mean, especially by the time my senior year. But man, that's good stuff. Coach Williams, our running back coach, the toughest of tough coaches. Great leader, man, but you didn't want to get on his bad side. That's the thing.
No. I went the other way.
Yeah, you didn't want to go to his bad side. I love Coach Williams. But man, fast forward to 96, man. This is where kind of your time here, you know, we're talented, man. We're making a name for ourselves, and we got this Georgia game coming up, man. Man, walk us through that Georgia win, KD, and what that meant for you.
And I tell people all the time, 96 was my peak year, dude. I was in great shape, felt good about myself. Probably should have walked away after that, because, dude, then, like, you know, what was it, John Nix, and what was the other young freshman D lineman?
DeQuincy Scott?
Yeah, DQ, all those guys. Those guys had motors I couldn't even touch, you know. And so basically my senior year, I just became a rest of y'all player. Hey, they're going to be in. The rest of y'all come in eventually.
Don't do yourself like that. You were still a key performer. But DQ, yeah, John Nix, they were NFL guys for years.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But I loved it, dude. That meant we were getting better and all that kind of stuff. You know, but anyway, that 96 year, dude, I felt great. You know, we all felt great. And, dude, we go to Georgia. And we had a lot of Georgia players, man. And between the hedges, and, dude, they had, what was his name? Robert Edwards, dude. Yep. That running back, he was probably the best physical specimen I've ever seen in person. I mean, his uniform had veins and muscles. I don't even know how he did it, dude. He looked like a superhero. And, dude, I never forget. There was a couple of things about that game. That game, we played against Hines Ward. Dude, listen, you remember that? You remember the call op? So if y'all don't know out there, it'd be, you know, I don't know, 98 BAM op. But the option was me as a nose, I would take one step back and cover a dragon tight end coming across. Remember that?
Yeah.
So Marchant would call the plays, and he's like, whatever op. And so that just meant either rush the quarterback or take one step back and try to decleat the tight end coming across. Well, anyway, so there I was, I step up, take one step back, and basically I'm in free space, you know, and I look, and here comes Hines Ward running across the field. He's a drag across the middle, dude. And I'm like, man, I'm about to kill this guy. And the offensive coordinator at Georgia right now, wasn't that the quarterback? Is it Bobo?
Bobo. The quarterback was Bobo for Georgia in 96. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, he steps back and he fires this rocket, dude. And it's coming right at me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to be a hero. I can quit football at this. I put my hands up. Dude, it's 1 inch from my hand. Hines Ward comes in, snatches it out of my hands, and runs for like 50 yards, dude. That guy was amazing. That play makes me laugh. And then the other play is when, and I got a picture of it, dude, they run a swing pass to Robert Edwards. I run my fat ass on the other side, if I can say that. But anyway, run my butt.
You say ass.
I got you.
Say it all you want. It's fine.
You bad. But anyway, Nicky Seymour makes him break down. And, dude, it looked like I hit him really hard, but it was just I was exhausted and falling down as I hit him. But, dude, knocked him out of the game, dude. Knocked Robert Edwards. That was like my most victorious moment as a college football player, dude. So
I love that.
I should have found it, dude. I got hedges and glass, dude. We stole hedges and
dude, you remember that? I mean,
oh yeah,
that is sacred ground. Those hedges at Georgia Stadium.
Dude, I remember Georgia fans screaming, "Arrest that guy!"
Ooh, I really thought security and police were going to get us because we were taking the hedges, pulling them out.
Yeah, Casey Keese, 6'6", 380 pounds. It looked like he was holding like an entire oak tree walking around.
Yeah, I got a picture of him in my teeth, man, smiling out that way. But dude, one of my favorite things that winning that Georgia and that game, taking the hedges, though, was also flying back into Hattiesburg. Dude, remember all the people at the airport there to greet us? Man, that was so cool.
That was amazing.
I felt like Bill Murray in Stripes when he gets off the plane. Yeah. We partying tonight.
Yeah, that was incredible, dude. That was incredible.
Oh, man, just a great moment in Southern Miss history, beating Georgia back then, man. And, 96 doesn't go according to plan. We wound up being co-champs, losing to Houston, and unfortunately 8-3, don't even get to a dang bowl, but whatever. But it gets into 97, man. Unfinished business.
Yeah,
we knew we were good, top to bottom. We just knew we were going to have a good year.
Diff,
What that
do it,
unfinished slogan mean to you? What's that?
Diff, do it for the team, man. Remember
Do
that?
it for the team. All that, man. What did unfinished business, that slogan going in 97, mean to you?
Yo, yeah, dude. We we would just burn. It was like we had the recognition, the numbers. I mean, golly, we were top whatever defense and just incredible. I remember Coach Thompson just like, we got to do it, guys. So it started, man, in winter workouts. Dude, we worked harder than those winter workouts. People don't know, leading up to spring practice, it's a month of getting up at 5 a.m. and it's harder than any military training I've been through. And dude, it's
Kendall, tell them what we had to wear in an unair conditioned, the old gym on campus. Tell them what we had to wear.
Yeah, so we're blessed now, 2023 now with all this polymers and stuff that wicks sweat away. Ladies and gentlemen, we were wearing the thickest sweatsuits you can ever imagine. It was literally cut off the back of a sheep and put onto us. It was like run around a wool blanket. And dude, no air condition. I've never sweat that much in my life. And it was cold outside sometimes in South Mississippi, but it was insane, dude. And then we're running perfect sprints. You got different drills. We had to wrestle each other. It was just phenomenal stuff we had to do. But I'm gonna tell you, God, we had hate in our heart. I mean, unbelievable, dude, and it was just incredible.
Yeah, those wrestling matches we had to do in winter workouts, man. I remember, Coach Marchant, Casey Keith wrestle, just hit the mat, right. And I'm like, hey,
right,
flows quick. Casey Keith is 6'5", 310, strongest, meanest guy on the team. We gotta wrestle this guy.
And dude, think about Coach McGee, as our strength coach. In his deep voice, he was the wrestling match, referee.
Oh, he was like the ref, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, all right, get up there. He's like, Rob Brown and Kendall Dunn, go. And if y'all don't know, Rob Brown, he squatted like 800 pounds, and he's just an incredible athlete. So Rob Brown, I sitting back to back, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna beat this dude wrestling. I want him there. So I whip around, I grab his head, and I push it in between the mats. Well, if you remember, Rob would throw up, like he'd get exhausted pretty quick. So I
do remember every day. Yeah, the little throw up action.
I just laid on him, dude, and he pops up, and I'm like, I look at his face, and I get out of the way, and dude, he throws up all over one of the other players. And then the guy sitting there with puke on him, and he's like, "Can I change?" And they're like, "No, you can't change." I mean, that's not hard. It was crazy. Good times.
Yeah, good times. We're gluttons for punishment to call it good times. It must be crazy. But man, so getting the 97 season, we knew we were good. We were building character with winter workouts and stuff, man, and unfinished business. And, it gets all the way, through that season. We're doing well. But to me, it gets to that Houston game in 97 at the Rock. That's the one I had circled out of all the games. We could have went 0-10 just so we beat Houston, man. Was that a game? We'll actually talk about that game, man, and what it meant to all of us.
Yeah, dude. It was an incredible game. What was your thoughts at the end of the game? I mean, fans rushing fields. I mean, it was crazy.
You know what I forget? They did tear the goalpost down tonight.
They did.
People forget about that. I forgot about that. We tore the goalpost.
Dude, I know. I could show you where I was standing watching them tear the goalpost down because, we were going to get to go to the Liberty Bowl, and that was just kind of icing on the cake. But, the meat and potatoes was the 5 years that led us to that point.
Yeah.
And not everybody gets that, dude. And we watched them tear down a goal, and I just stood there, and I was like, wow, we made it. This is it, And it was incredible, man. It was unbelievable, dude.
It was just a projection. That's a good way to put it. I mean, 93, we had a rough year. 94, we're building. 95, we're that close to being 10-1. 96, 8-3, that close to being champs. And then 96 just culminated. And then we were conference champs, get to the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, which was the gold standard for Southern Miss football back in the late 90s.
It was.
So, man, the Liberty Bowl week, winning the Liberty Bowl, end of our senior year, man. I mean, it was just a lot of hugs, a lot of tears. It was bittersweet in a way.
It was.
But, man, that Liberty Bowl week and winning that game, what'd that mean, man?
Oh, man. Dude, that Liberty Bowl week, the whole week was just so much fun. There was no doubt in our minds we were going to win that game. I mean, golly, the players we had, you could have put anybody in front of us. It wasn't going to be they didn't have a shot. But just the whole week, man, I really sat back and tried to enjoy it because I was like, this is it. I had no idea my future was going to be. But I was like, this is it. This is going to be my last football game. And we're going out on top. And it was going to be awesome. And it was, dude. The weeks of practice, that week of practice, my roommate was Jim Kitchen. And Jim, we were just kind of doing walkthroughs. And Jim caught me slipping. And he knocked me on my butt, man. It was so much fun. I mean, it was just funny. Memory, he'll mention he still got me. But, us laying in, that's another thing people don't realize. Like, your room dog on the road, the stuff you would talk about and hang out. Jim was my roommate at the Peabody, and it was so much fun, dude. The memories are popping back real quick now, being in those team meetings, Coach Thompson, all those guys, dude. And then winning the game, freezing to death,
Yeah.
Absolutely freezing to death. My wife now, she was at the game. We didn't see each other in college, but we dated after college. But anyway, she still talks about how cold it was, but yeah, it was insane, dude. But it was incredible. And look, and let me tell you, you go look back, the Liberty Bowl stuff, newspaper, there's you holding a Liberty Bowl trophy. Dude, I'm right there with you. But I was just taking it in. I wish now I would have grabbed the trophy with you. Some of the other guys that got to be in all the pictures, but it's forever burned in my memory, dude. That picture, I was standing 1 foot away from you. Just awesome. It was just so much fun. And then, Patrick Surtain's going to NFL and freaking his agent rolls up that Lexus, I'm like,
Yeah,
that's awesome. But good times, the people that we all met up there in Memphis, and somebody's vehicle got stolen. I mean, but it was good times, dude.
Oh yeah, great times, man. Partying hard with the Southern Miss fans on Beale Street all over Memphis, man. That night, I know that. I woke up the next morning like, whoo, that was fun. But I got a headache. I got a headache.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But man, it being a little bittersweet, obviously, man. You and I, we built such a great friendship, great teammate bond, man. But it was over, and I remember us talking like, kind of, what's next, man? What's? I mean, when football's kind of over, it's rough. It's one of the sports. It's over.
It's over. And I knew it was over when spring practice started and winter workouts, and you weren't invited. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's man. KD, I've talked to basketball players, tennis players, golf players. I'm like, man, you guys can get 5-on-5 basketball. You can play golf, you can play tennis, whenever you want. I'll never be able to get 22 guys, count myself, lined up, full pad, and let's get after it. Never. When it's over, it's over. And it sucks.
It's done. It does. It sucks. Because I'm going to tell you, man, there's a lot of times in my life that I wish I could decleat somebody. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
No matter what happened during the day, you knew practice was coming, and I was fighting somebody. I just like to fight back then, you like real punching.
You were salty, man. KD.
You know what?
You were salty, man.
Oh man, but it was just fun. You knew you could take it out on people, dude. And then once that was gone, it was like, man, what do you do with all this?
So man, your mindset after football, man, it's pretty fascinating because it's over, man. Where was your mindset right there? I mean, did it go straight into the military, or where was your mindset right after football?
So, man, whatever. I don't know who's going to watch this, college graduates, whatever, but I graduated. I remember Coach Bauer used to always tell us. He talked to us about school. He's like, "Hey, you make $1 million more over your lifetime if you have a degree." So I fought hard to get that degree. I still see Leanne James lives around here. She was an academic advisor, and just told her always thanks for putting up with me. But I didn't have any direction, man. I didn't know any college graduates in my family. I mean, we had some, don't get me wrong, but immediate family, nobody was really looking to go to college. And then all of a sudden I get my degree and I'm out on the street. Well, I made a deal with myself. I wasn't going to stay in Hattiesburg because I didn't want to just stay, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I moved back to the coast, my parents, and, you try to get a job. And then I did the best thing ever. I moved to New Orleans. So I moved back to New Orleans with a good buddy of mine, and we started working. And then I'm like, dude, I need to do something. I got to get back to that motivation, teamwork, all that stuff. Well, I thought, man, what did you always want to be? I wanted to be a pilot. I wasn't very smart, but I tried hard, I just kept showing up. So I went to the Air Force initially. Back then, dude, you need to be an engineer, the Navy, the Marines. That's what I really wanted to do. I want to be a Harrier pilot, but you had to start on that stuff in college. It's like being a doctor. You want to be a doctor, you need to start like your freshman year getting biochem, but you couldn't just one day, I'm gonna be a doctor. But so anyway, long story short, I ran into some Army guys, and they had a program, and I was able to sign up and got accepted. Thank God I had that Southern Miss background and football background, and I got accepted, dude. And I left for the Army.
Man, and kind of getting to that, I mean, your career and the way you're trained, dude, you are highly trained from Army and Air Force backing, man. I mean, your resume is tremendous, what you know. Your expertise in helicopters and airplanes is through the roof. Man, talk about that training. I mean, because it's stuff I can't fathom to be that good with a helicopter and airplane.
I don't know how good. I tell you, I'm much better with a helicopter than an airplane. But
yeah, man. Prefer helicopters. You prefer helicopters.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, the most fun flying is helicopters, dude. You get low and fast. But man, only having a couple hours of gas, dude, ain't much fun. And my C-130, dude, we got 10 hours of gas. We can go to Hawaii. We can go somewhere else. A helicopter, you barely getting out of Mississippi before you got to get more gas. But yeah, it was good, man. Joined the Army, basic training, warrant officer school. Did a bunch of other schools, and eventually went to flight school. Went to officer candidate school. Became a lieutenant, deployed as a platoon leader. Came back, flew for a while, did stuff at Camp Shelby, flew some Hueys, Blackhawks. I mean, if anybody watches this, they understand all that stuff, military. But did some cool stuff, met some great people. And then, dude, one day, man, I ran into a guy that used to fly helicopters and flew for the Hurricane Hunters. And, dude, we started talking, and, everything, nothing's easy, but eventually I got to go to Air Force pilot training. And, dude, that was just catch me out, dude, flying these little trainer planes, dude, doing loops and rolls, and absolutely insane. I mean, flying around an aircraft that has an ejection seat, that just blew my mind. And then moved on to another twin engine jet trainer. I mean, dude, I flew at 41,000 feet in that thing. It's like, man, this is nuts. I can remember we did a cross country. We actually came back to Gulfport from Texas. Dude, we were over LSU at 30,000 feet because it was clear. I could see straight down, and we were over LSU. I knew where we were. And from LSU to Gulfport, we were going over 500 miles an hour, and it said 10 minutes. And that's when airplane flying just changed for me. I was like, wow, that's crazy. You can really cover some distance. Did that, and then went to C-130 school up at Little Rock, and then became a Hurricane hunter, basically. But yeah, did a lot of cool stuff. Went to survival school. Survival school, man, it was a lot of felt like it was a lot of football two-a-days, Southern Miss stuff. People know about survival school. It's pretty interesting, but yeah, it was awesome, man. Awesome. I've been in 21 years or so now, and looking at the twilight side of the career, but yeah, it's been pretty great.
Man, that's incredible, man. Just all that kind of stuff makes you a great American.
By the way, Marchant asked me to put up this flag, so
I did. I mean,
it's a big Garrison flag. It's flown over a base.
I want Kendall Dunn. I wanted fireworks. I wanted the flag. I wanted, I wanted it all. I wanted him in a skull cap American flag. Because who's in America? But hey, man, real quick, I want to hit on something too, man. Obviously, we talked about the Hurricane Hunter stuff, which is balls of steel stuff. But man, your deployment, you have been deployed. You've been to Kosovo, among other deployments for you. Man, you mentioned, man, you made some great friends and you lost some great friends, man. Yeah. I mean, what's that travel like, to deal with things like that?
Yeah, man, it's, aviation in general, you're going to lose. I mean, it's just guaranteed you're going to lose friends. There was a guy, man, he was a guy I flew with all the time. His name was Aaron Weaver, dude. He actually was a sergeant in Black Hawk Down. So you read the Black Hawk Down book or ever watch the History Channel documentary, he's mentioned in there. And then he became a pilot, man. Dude, let me tell you his story real quick. Just credible dude. He was an Army Ranger, bad to the bone. And it was funny us flying together because he was about, I don't know, 5'4", 150 pounds, and I'm 6'3" at the time, about 235. And he's real like super energetic. It's like, hey Spike, come on, Spike. Remember those cartoons? And I remember we had a check ride together, dude. And he's like, the evaluator pilot's asking me a question, and I'm very like, if you ask me what color this flag is, I'll be like red, white, blue, like very. And he's like, well, what about it was made by Betsy Ross? Like he asked me a follow-up question. I'm like, bro, calm down. But anyway, super cool. But anyway, so he actually got OH-58s. People that know that out there, it's a little small reconnaissance helicopter, rockets, all this kind of stuff. Long story, his whole unit's deployed in Iraq. He gets diagnosed with testicular cancer. So he stays back, gets that all treated. It was about a year before his deployment. They knew they were going. He gets treated, gets over testicular cancer. He had lost like 50 pounds taking chemo and stuff. Dude, he meets his unit in country, does a lot of like America, sending freedom seeds, bullets down and just all this great stuff. Anyway, dude, he gets on a Black Hawk, which was not his helicopter to fly to get evaluated. They were doing CT scans or PET scans. Dude gets shot down over Fallujah and dies. I know, man. And that's crazy. You lose an American like that. Like, God, this dude was incredible. So much to live for. And I tell you, and I tell a story. I tried hard to go to Iraq, man, like hard. Like we were on the track to go to Iraq, and then like Katrina happened. So our unit got pulled to stay home and fix stuff. And then we wound up going to Kosovo. I tried. And I look back, man, I lost so many friends. And I'm like, man, that probably would have been me. My family, obviously they're glad I didn't go because who knows, but lost a lot of good people. But Aaron Weaver, man, his story's cool. Not cool. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it like that, but he's got a great story. But great family. But dude, my other roommate, dude, he was shot down as an Apache pilot, was a POW, man, got released. He's got a great redemption story. I was very blessed. Like the same people we knew in football, man, I got to go know these guys in the military. And it was cool. Very fortunate. There's some people you didn't like and you wouldn't deal with for 1 second. Just like in football, we didn't talk to some people on the team, but then there was some people you do anything to be with. But yeah, very fortunate, man. And then from the Army, moved to Air Force, great people in Air Force. Some of the stuff that people have done, just incredible, man. The military and what people sacrifice, it's insane. Absolutely. And with the family sacrifices, man, that's the big, insane part.
Man, that's incredible stories right there, KD. The amount of sacrifice that you give, our military gives, and the families give with their loved ones. I mean, it's just the debt of gratitude and respect. I just don't think we can even say it enough. I mean, putting your lives on the line for freedom, literally in the greatest country in the world, and it comes at a price. It does, man. And guys like you, like I said, intestinal fortitude, balls of steel. Man, I'm not the tough guy. This guy is.
Well, dude, look, there's a lot of parallels. We gave up our bodies and sacrificed to get that scholarship and that college education. It's the same thing. We get sacrificed to, military gave me my wings and gave me the opportunity to have, give my family stuff I didn't have, see things around the world, see how bad some places can be. Pretty cool look, going into places like flying into Gitmo and down in Cuba, and America still owns a place in Cuba, which blows my mind. And you land there and dude, there's guys sitting on a tower pointing guns at you. It's wild, dude. We do live in the greatest country, and I just wish people get on board and appreciate it more, because I tell you what, when you go overseas, they see us as Americans. They don't see anything. They don't see race. They see Americans, and they hate us all the same. Some of them do. You know what I mean?
No, I know. I get it, man. You've seen all the highs and lows that I can't even imagine, man, what's going on sometimes in the world. But man, it's been awesome having you on today, KD. I could talk to you all day. I text you nonsensical stuff all the time. So let's talk something serious. Let's talk something serious. But hey, man, real quick, I respect your time for you, man. Your family, you got an awesome family life, man. What's some family life updates in the Dunn family?
Yeah, dude. Got 2 great kids, great wife, been with my wife since 2000, got married 2001. You were at the wedding. You know, that's
great time too. I got a little drunk. I did.
Yeah. No, I think Mustang Sally still rings in my head from the band. But you know, been fortunate. Great family, dude. Great kids. My son is planning on going into nursing at the other college that we won't discuss, but took him for visits up there. You know, and that's part of it. You know, his whole life he went to Southern Miss, so it's like he's been there, done that. It's kind of like friends that, you know, they were LSU alumni or State or whatever. The kids go somewhere else because they're just like, been there, done that. I want to make my own trail. So anyway, my kid's about to leave for college, which is a whole different chapter. You know, you experienced it, last year or 2 years ago. It's just a whole nother world. I can't believe we're this old. And especially you get to keep your hair, so it doesn't make you look as old, you know?
Yeah, KD, I'm sorry about this, man. But yeah, I still got mine, brother. I still got mine, baby. Hey, KD, real quick, man. This being a 4th of July special show, I don't think, it could come from the heart from anybody better than you. When I say the word America, I want to put it today, baby. What does that word mean to you?
Man, I'm going to tell you, America. Now that, I read a meme, dude, that said, welcome to your 30s. You're either going to start studying about barbecue or study about, World War II history. You know, it's kind of funny. But, dude, America, let me tell you, my son, I didn't mention my son's in Boy Scouts. So I was at Boy Scout camp last week. You know, it's 100 degrees outside. But, dude, every morning that flag would go up, and it was neat to watch my son's little Boy Scout troop be involved and hoisting the flag. And I was, the other dads don't have really military experience. So I helped them raise the flag, that kind of thing. But let me tell you, man, that flag going up, those kids saying the Pledge of Allegiance, girls, boys, just shaping hearts and minds, dude. It's the greatest country in the world. When I think of America, dude, it's opportunity. Take 2 kids from New Orleans. People know your story, my story. I was adopted. You were adopted. I was adopted. We shared that bond. Our parents did their best. And then, dude, we took an opportunity. We ran with it. Very fortunate to be successful. Dude, I remember being in Kosovo, flying a Black Hawk, and I landed one time and we were talking to some kids. And I'll never forget this guy going, man, I couldn't do that if I wanted to. I said, what do you mean? He's like, we don't even have that opportunity. So in his lifetime, he would never have the opportunity to fly, and anyway. But when I think of America, dude, I think of the freedom, milk, honey, all that stuff. The older we get, dude, the closer we're to the end of our life. It's an amazing country. Opportunity, man. Nothing but opportunity. So, man. Hey, what did they used to say? Ain't nothing but you got to make your own luck, Yeah,
this is the country to do it in, man. And things like that, like we said, that's why we bonded so well, man. We came from not a whole lot, man. I was adopted by a boys' home when you say adoption, after my parents passed away. But we had that little bond going and built a strong bond and got us a championship at Southern Miss, brother. But KD, once again, from a great American, from a great Golden Eagle,
man,
you're a great former teammate of mine, man. I can't thank you enough for being on my show today, KD.
Love it. Hey, let's keep growing it, dude. I appreciate you doing this, man. You put the fire back in my heart. I've been through so much. You and I have talked about it. I've been through so much and so many like different teams where. I wasn't involved as much as I should be, but crap, between deployments and drills and just all that. But, you getting fired up about this, it's brought me back up. We got things to build from. New head coach, baseball's doing well, basketball did well. I mean, we just got to keep getting people involved. And hey, man, I always said we can build 1,000 solid fans a year, dude. And, just good time.
That's a great way to put it. No, I had my downtime, man, where I wasn't in the Southern Miss as much as I needed to be. But I tell you what, the past 3-4 years, baby, you cut me open as black and gold. I cut you open as black and gold and red, white, and blue. I'm just black and gold. But once again, KD, love having you on, man. Can't wait till I'm texting probably after something silly after the show, man. But I think a great way to end it would be to give all the Southern Miss fans on 4th of July a big Southern Miss.
To the top.
To the top. All right, KD, man. Catch up soon, man.
All right, man. Love you.
Love you too.